You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Infinite diversity.
Live long and prosper, and welcome to Infinite Diversity, a Star Trek Universe podcast here on the BQN Podcast Collective. I'm your host for today, Chrissie, and joining me is my co-host, Thad. Thad, how are you doing today?
Pretty good. I feel like I'm on trial for the, to justify my government, and I don't necessarily know that I want to.
Yeah, wasn't that outlawed by some UN resolution or something, if I could quote data, but I can't remember exactly.
How are you today, Chrissie?
I'm good. I'm waiting for summer break, and it just seems like everything always happens right in that week when there's exams. It's just, there's no way to get to break without having a complete craziness. So, I don't know. Okay. Also joining us today is Sue Kisenwether. Sue, how are you doing today?
Oh, just recovering from a malfunctioning neurotransmitter inhibitor.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
happens every now and then. Should take some more Adderall.
I was going to say, I'm familiar with that with this experience.
It was going to be neural inhibitor, and then just came out as neurotransmitter. So you know what I talk about most of the time.
There you go. As long as you're not talking gibberish, we're in good shape.
Oh, well. We'll wait and see.
Well, we're back to a morning recording, so we should be slightly more coherent than we were last time.
Says you.
Should being the operative. I'm still working on my first cup of coffee, so. All right, before we jump into our topic for the day, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons who make our show possible, particularly Associate Producer Carl Wonders. Listeners, you can hear your name listed as one of our Associate Producers for a monthly subscription of just $10. And your subscription of any amount at patreon.com/BQN keeps all the shows on the network ad-free. I'll be right back, guys. We gotta pause. Anyway, so I'm sorry to do this. You guys go ahead and finish.
It's quite all right. Okay, well, unfortunately, Chrissie just got called away on an emergency away mission, so now it's gonna be Sue and me to cover this, and Chrissie was gonna lead this episode, so now we're gonna be even more disorganized than usual.
Glad to be here for that.
Starfleet Academy, Season 1, Episode 10, the season finale, Rubincon. Not Rubicon, but Rubincon. Sue, what do you think this week?
I think it tied things up rather well, but it left me with a lot of, I think, Star Trek-y questions also.
All right.
I think that is fair to say.
I was more positive about this than I was on the first half of the two-parter, I think. Although I did like the first half more the second time I watched it, which is probably because I knew that this half was coming. But yeah, I thought in general, they did a pretty good job with the season, and I really enjoyed. I mean, Paul Giamatti is great, and the fake trial, that whole thing was I enjoyed all of that. So I think it really worked. I have a few minor gripes, but yeah, I think in general, I think it worked pretty well as a finale for the season.
I mean, I may be shooting myself in the foot here, but I think my hesitation around Academy has been mostly that the characters they clearly want me to care the most about are the ones I don't care anything about.
So you don't care about the cadets, is what I'm hearing.
I care about Sam.
Fair.
But like Terima, I do not. I'm sorry. I don't care.
Fair.
I also am still on the fence about this version of Betazoids. But
I still don't like their eyes.
That could be a me problem. So
I appreciated that they did in fact remind us in a recent episode that they do know that Betazoids are telepathic and not just empathic. So that helped. But
the princess with the special telekinetic powers that are a curse / a gift, and they're telling her to control them, but she shouldn't have to control them. I'm just like, this is very YA lit coded.
Well, I mean, that's
what the show is. I know, and I understand that as a 40-something-year-old woman, I am not the target demographic, which is why I care about Nala the most. I get it. I understand. And why I said it was a me problem.
I mean, yeah. I mean, yes, I think, and I mean, same. As someone who just turned 40, I definitely empathize more with the teachers than the students.
So old. We're so old. I caught myself saying young people yesterday. It was very upsetting.
I should have invited some teenagers on the show. But probably not, because that would have been exhausting. All right, so we
go through it, right? Let's go through it.
Yeah, let's do it. We have the showdown. We open up with Nala Ake meeting Anisha Mir again for the first time since she sent her away. And I feel like Anisha handles this better than I would have expected someone to.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I kind of saw the attempted physical attack coming. You know?
But, like, it doesn't take long for her to just be part of the conversation and talk to them about what they need to do, and then even volunteer to help them. I mean, that's because Caleb's there, but still.
Right. And I do really like that Starfleet / the Federation here is sort of forced to reckon with the things they've done wrong. Because so much of, again, 90s Trek is or at least, let me say, TNG, is the Federation is correct and does everything right, and we're the heroes. And to have these officers, again, saying, no, we messed up, and have other people in the universe saying, you know, the Federation isn't all they claim to be, and things go wrong, and you need to fix some stuff. Like, that's legitimate. That is a good thing for this series to be exploring. Absolutely. Especially with the colonialism roots that we have going all the way back to TOS. So that I'm happy to see.
So at the same time, we have that, but then we also have an important story point in this episode is for Ake to say that the Federation has never, in the Starfleet in its entire history, has never fired on a civilian.
Yeah.
I'm like, that can't be true. I do not have receipts. I did not go looking, but I'm sure it's happened.
I had the same reaction. I mean, the Maquis were civilians, kind of, right?
I mean, the Maquis were fighting against them, so that's a little different. But, yeah, how about that time Cisco made an entire planet uninhabitable?
Right? I don't. It seems like a bold claim, is all I'm going to say. I'm not going to research it, but it's a bold claim.
In 1,000 years, there was never an accident where a friendly fire accident where someone from Starfleet shot a civilian. That's not possible. I'm just you could say that without the absolute. You could be saying it is Starfleet's policy not to fire on civilians, which is. That I'll take. But to say that in its history, Starfleet has never fired on civilians? I doubt is all I'm saying.
Okay, so quick Google.
Uh-huh.
Leads me to a reference to the first thing that comes up is Worf firing on a civilian transport during.
But that didn't actually happen.
War.
That was the DS9 episode Rules of Engagement, where it turns out that it was not actually a civilian transport and he was being framed.
Yep. I mean, we also see them at the end of the war in the ruins of Cardassia Prime, and you can't imagine that there weren't civilians living in the capital city, right?
True, but most of the ruins of Cardassia Prime were from the Dominion destroying Cardassia rather than the...
Still, I'm dubious.
I don't know that Starfleet actually fired on the planet ever. I think that was... But yeah, that's a valid point. I mean, I can't think, off the top of my head, I can't think of an episode where we have someone accidentally shooting someone that they shouldn't have and then it being a problem, because, and you'd think that would have come up at some point, that would have been an episode at some point, but I'm sure it happened. There's no way that at no point in any armed engagement that someone who wasn't supposed to be shot got shot.
Right.
Anyway. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Come on.
Shame. Okay.
They're having a quick brainstorming session on what can they do to stop these mines. And then the Venari Raw show up and they hide the cadets. In the conveniently already shown last episode way that you can, if you slightly increase the pressure in the cargo bay, you don't detect life signs, which I'm still not sure how that works, but whatever. It's a design flaw. And Anisha volunteers to stay to distract Nusbraka. And this is clever when there's where Ake secretly gives the Doctor that he needs to create a holographic fake of the ship blowing up so that they can get away. That's clever. Yeah. It reminds me of in Voyager when they had it was in Basics when they had the fake holographic ships and they accidentally put the Doctor in space for a few seconds. And this, I'm going to assume that when the Doctor is put into the ship's computer and then creating the hologram is when he absorbs all the information in the ship's computer, including all the data that Vance had just sent them about the Omega-47 mines, which is why he knows about Rubin particles. That's my assumption.
I'll buy that. Sure. Why not? Okay, but we skipped a part that I really enjoyed. I jotted it down because I was like, why isn't this getting more attention? Or maybe it should have had another line with it. But when the Athena is damaged and Reno says to the cadets, this is what it's like to be alone in space with no hope of rescue on a broken ship. Like, that's her story. Mm-hmm. But she just says it so casually. Like, I enjoy that is correct. And my brain is going, yeah, she would know. And like, I can then just hear that comment in her voice going, I would know. Like,
Oh, Reno is fantastic this episode.
Absolutely.
Which is, I mean, always true. But, yeah, no, she's great. Honestly, I think Reno is better in Academy than she was in Discovery. And she was already pretty great in Discovery.
Yeah, I think she was much more, I think, of comic relief in Discovery.
Yeah.
And, has a lot, I would say, I don't know if it's more agency, but, like, other things to do in Academy.
Yeah, she's main cast instead of supporting cast now.
Yeah.
And just every line that she has is fantastic. I would watch Reno, A Star Trek Story.
I mean, I would certainly sign up for that. Where's her action figure? Damn it.
Well, talk to Master Replicas. They have the license for the current shows.
Coming in 2034.
Yeah, probably. We did get 2 Discovery action figures with the aborted Playmates revival that
I know.
didn't last. In fact, I have Saru right here. He lounges on my desk.
Yeah, mine are over there. Anyway. Distracted by action figures. Unsurprising.
Always? So, one thing, when Reno's talking to them when they're about to hide in the cargo bay, she's talking about, and if the pressure gets too much, you can dial it back. It's like, they're changing it by 0.28%. I don't even think the human body can notice a pressure change like that.
How much does pressure change in an airplane?
Enough to make my ears hurt.
Oh, the thing about us is when one of us poses a question, we have to know the answer.
An airplane at cruising altitude has roughly 75% of sea level air pressure.
Oh.
So,
yeah.
We're talking a tiny fraction of that. With the change in this cargo bay, there's no way you would not feel that pressure change at all.
Huh. And that little of a pressure change would
hide your life
mess
science.
Up life science? I feel like there's a missing component here. There's got to be, because it doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't.
Was this episode or last episode where they said, again, I don't know when it happened. I just remember it happened.
Sure.
Where one of the cadets is like, okay, rerouting power, and another one's like, from where?
That was last week.
That was so good.
I do like when they're in the cargo bay there, and Jaden just walks up to Caleb and says that a warrior doesn't let a friend face danger alone, explaining why he's there. I thought that was nice. I know, these are people you don't care about.
I like Jaden. I think it's very funny that his name is Jaden, because that is the name of our 22-year-old intern at work.
Well, it's J-Den to make it more Klingon,
which is even more ridiculous. IMO. But no, I like Jaden. I like Sam. Yeah. I like Jaden.
I noticed that the Athena has the same flamethrowers installed on the bridge that the Discovery does.
Gee, I wonder why. It's just a feature of ship design.
We need a name for the flamethrowers, though. Like, we got the Cordry rocks. What are the flamethrowers called?
I don't know. We'll have to find out who is responsible.
Although, the most ridiculous flame this episode is in the courtroom atrium when they have the fire coming up out of the fountains. In the pools of water, there's just, like, fire coming up out of the middle of them.
Very Disneyland. World of color.
I also liked when Ake's has them making the ship look more damaged than it is, and she tells Reno to make the plasma leak worse, and she just says, "We normally don't do that, but okay."
Yeah. I very much enjoyed some of those exchanges.
Yes. Yeah. So, yes, Braca comes over, abducts Ake and Anisha, and tells them to destroy the ship. The Doctor's hologram makes it look like the ship blows up. And I like how that's the title screen this episode. We don't have the theme. We see the what we later find out is the holographic wreckage floating in space, and just the Star Trek words float in front of it. I think it works pretty well. Reminds me a bit of the opening of the 2009 movie.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
And then we got to, surprise, the ship's not destroyed after all.
I mean, it would be bad form if it was. I mean, very, very cause and effect, right? Where the ship blows up before the opening credits.
We also knew that it wasn't, like, we had already, yeah.
What's the rest of this episode going to be?
anytime anyone says bad form, I just think of Hook.
Hook was on yesterday. Okay, anyway.
So that's why you thought of it then.
But so yeah, Braca is suddenly somehow broadcasting.
Yes,
this
apparently.
Is the part that I just don't understand. Like, where'd the chyrons come from? Where do you get this set? Like, who are you broadcasting to? What is happening?
They did a ton of post-apocalyptic redecorating on the atrium there.
Where are the cameras?
There might already be cameras there because it's the Academy.
Not where he's broadcasting from.
No, he is. He's broadcasting from the atrium of Starfleet Academy that they had left behind. It's, the grand tradition of Star Trek reusing their sets. Because in the last episode, when they had to abandon the atrium when they flew away. So it's like the handle that goes under the saucer.
Right. But like when they show us the screen as if it were the broadcast, right? When they put like the overlays on it, it looks, at least based on my recollection, very much like the news report that we saw of the Mars attack in Prodigy and Children of Earth.
Yes.
So like that would be, I guess, the Federation News Network.
Well, it's not though because it says VNN, so I assume that's Venari Raw News Network. So like the Venari Raw apparently have their own news network.
So the part of the Academy can just broadcast their own program widely. Like, who's in the control booth? What is happening?
It's the 32nd century. Everyone carries a control booth with them. I don't know.
Very weird. Also, that's not how law works. I understand that's not really what it is. And it's not like Braca thinks he is actually conducting a legal procedure at this point. But like, okay, sure.
No, but what he's trying to do is get everyone who is not in the Federation and is outside on board with what he's doing so that they can all support his...
Yeah, absolutely. It's all a show.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that it basically looks like Fox News is not a coincidence, I think. Oh, okay. We're farther into the episode than I normally when I rant about something dumb I saw on the internet, but I do want to rant about something dumb I saw on the internet.
Yes. Which
is someone was saying about last week's episode that it was clearly a shot at Trump because Omega 47 is supposed to be the evil weapon, and it's Omega 47. And Trump is President 47, and it almost sounds like MAGA. So it was clearly the show is clearly doing this as a attack on Trump.
That seems like reaching.
Just a bit. I would remind anyone who thinks that this might be true that when this episode was written and filmed, well, no, it would have been filmed. When this episode was written, certainly, Trump was not the 47th president yet.
But, like, Voyager has dealt with the Omega particle, right?
Yeah. And 47 is a
Star Trek thing.
In Star Trek. Yeah, no.
But also, like, at least in my brain, it's also a Galaxy Quest reference.
Yeah, the Omega 13, yeah.
Right. Like, come on.
Yeah. No, people are just idiots.
There is so much more criticism of the current administration just in the content of Star Trek and in the naming of...
But the thing is, nothing in Starfleet Academy Season 1 would be a direct criticism of anything that happened in the second Trump administration because it all would have been written
right
before anything happened in the second Trump administration.
Yes.
Now...
I'm talking about like philosophies.
Yeah. If Starfleet Academy is anti-fascist and you're seeing that as anti-Trump, well, maybe wonder why you think that's anti-Trump. But anyway.
When Star Trek gets so woke, Thad. September 8th, 1966.
Mm-hmm. I saw an amazing meme the other day. It was a screenshot from the TOS episode Patterns of Force, the literal Nazi one. Spock nerve pinching a Nazi, and Kirk is catching the body and saying, "Spock, you shouldn't have done that." And why not, Captain? Because Star Trek isn't political.
That's excellent.
Yes.
Very good. It's
especially excellent because William Shatner himself has made that claim.
Oh, well, that's... You expect Star Trek actors to remember what they said on the episodes?
Not William Shatner. He famously has said many times that he has never watched Star Trek. Which is why I thought it was hilarious the other year. He did that tour around the country where he was doing giving an intro talk before a screening of Star Trek 2, a movie that he has never seen.
Okay, but this is why I was so impressed when Nana wrote her open channel book, right? Because she sat down and she watched it all and she talked about watching it all, and that, I get it. That's impressive and dedicated, and also I think gives the actors who do that a better understanding of their fan base. It's just, yeah, I like it. Anyway, not the point.
Patrick Stewart claimed that the reason he wanted to come back for Picard was because he had been watching TNG and really liked what he saw. Now, we all know the real reason he wanted to come back for Picard is because Paramount offered him a ton of money. But
if he had been watching TNG, we would not have had these same old android stories we always do. Anyway.
Gina Yashere was on the cruise this year. And
I know, and she posted a picture of your shirt.
Yes. I mean, she could have included my face. I wouldn't have complained.
I saw that and I was like, I know that guy.
But she hosted Starfleet Academy trivia, and she knew her stuff, which is impressive because you wouldn't, especially when the trivia would have all been about stuff that happened in season 1, which she would have filmed a long time ago, and she was coming off having just wrapped filming on season 2 to get on the boat. And I was impressed. She knew all the stuff. And it's especially impressive because she has said that she didn't know Star Trek until she got this role. So I was quite impressed because, they always do that on the cruise. They'll do the trivia with the actors, and normally the actors have no idea.
Right. Yeah. I just there's always, not always, but there have been several of the crop of actors who have come in for the streaming series, I'll put it that way, that have really dove in to the lore and to the canon. And another one is Mary Chieffo.
Yeah.
Right? Just fully absolutely loves Jadzia Dax to her core. It's I love it. It's totally opinion.
Great. And I know, Anthony Rapp ended up binging all of DS9 when Discovery was first airing. Yeah, so some of them, and of course, I mean, and then and you get the occasional person who was already a fan, like Tawny Newsome, who knows as much about Star Trek as we do.
And Paul Giamatti knows his stuff.
Who?
Paul Giamatti knows his stuff.
Oh, Paul Giamatti knows, yeah. I mean, he wanted to be on Star Trek. He was so excited to be on Star Trek. He had the interview where he was asking his favorite Star Trek villains, and he was and for one, I don't necessarily agree with him that Garak is a villain, but the fact that he's able to name Garak and Gul Dukat means that he knows more than just, this is that show with Kirk and Spock.
I mean, I was fortunate enough to be covering the red carpet premiere thing for Trek Core. And Paul Giamatti was just eager to talk to the fans. He was, how they usually set it up, the real news outlets, quote unquote, are down towards the front of the red carpet. And you've got, your entertainment news, Variety, all of those people. And down at the other end are Trek Core and Trek Movie and the Sci-Fi Sisters and like just the fan outlets. And his body language even changed when he realized he got to the fan outlets, and he was leaning on the banister like, let's talk about it, let's go. Like, it was so great.
Well, I mean, part of that is probably he's talked to regular news about his work for decades. That's part of the job for him now, whereas talking to excited fans, how often does he get to do that?
Right. I mean, it could be a whole lot more.
It's true. Paul Giamatti, if you're listening, if you want to come on for an episode of Infinite Diversity, you are more than welcome to do so. I'm still crossing my fingers that they'll get him for STOV.
That'd be a get. Let's hope.
I mean, and it's not out of the question. They've gotten big names like that before. The fact that he's a huge Star Trek fan and is excited about being in Star Trek, it's great. It's how we would feel if we were cast in Star Trek. But yeah, I was just impressed that Gina Yashere knows a lot about Star Trek and knew the trivia questions. Like when it was an easy one, she would just be like, and none of you had better miss this.
I love that.
That's great. I sadly did not win Academy trivia. I did win the Lita trivia hosted by Chase Masterson, though.
There was a whole trivia session just on Lita?
Yes. Technically, the Academy trivia was Laura Thock-based trivia. It was Laura's thought-provoking trivia. Yeah,
this is ridiculous.
The three trivias they did this year was Lita, Laura Thock, and Malcolm Reed.
Interesting choices.
Well, it's because they had those actors. I did pretty poorly on Malcolm Reed trivia. Like, I think I got about 60% right.
I think I won Science and Medical Officer trivia one
I remember
year.
that.
Unsurprising.
And then we were on a team together that tied for first for Crusher Family Trivia.
Oh, yes, correct. How did I forget about Crusher Family Trivia? That's my whole brand.
And I went up for the tiebreaker, and it was stupid rock, paper, scissors. Which is what they were going to do for Lita Trivia, because actually I tied with another group. But Lita, or Chase Masterson said, no, that's stupid. We're not going to do that. And
I love Chase.
Yeah, she said, who can do the best impression of Lita's first scene in DS9?
Oh, that's right! You said that video!
And the other guy didn't even try a falsetto, and he went first. So then I'm like, oh, I got this.
World's best video! Have you put that up on Patreon yet? Damn.
I put it out for anyone to see on the internet. Anyway, this episode of Star Trek. News Braca is broadcasting on Fox News, saying the Federation is a crime against democracy, and I'm not quite sure how that works, but okay. And he's going to be creating a new, better society with blackjack and hookers. And,
right, like, this doesn't work, I'm going to tear it all down and build my own. That always goes real well.
Oh, yeah. He says, yeah, and he does talk about how when he was a kid, he saw the Federation aid ships fly over his planet, but they never stopped and never helped the starving people. And his father tried to shoot one of them down, and then the Federation destroyed the whole planet.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll jump ahead a little bit here. We find out that did not happen. Well, I mean, not the way he remembers it. In that the colony was a strontium mine, and his father built the weapon that he tried to shoot the Federation ship down out of strontium, and it apparently ignited the atmosphere and caused all the people to die from his own poor attempt at... Yeah, mistake is the best. Yeah. Because the Federation has never, Starfleet has never in its history ever fired on a civilian. Again, I doubt that.
That's not the compelling argument. The more compelling argument is that he describes it as, like, I think red hellfire.
Yes.
Right? And they were like, we don't use red weapons.
Yeah. For the last few hundred years, Starfleet weapons have been blue or green. And I suddenly felt like a terrible nerd that I had not actually noticed that that the weapons are blue and green in the future.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed either. Honestly.
Because in my head, phaser fire is orange, because that's what it was in the 90s.
Yeah, because it came around the saucer section of the Enterprise D, and then it shot out the front.
Exactly.
And it's possible that the most other recent episode of a different series that I had watched was in Picard Season 3 on the Enterprise D. So that's what I remember.
Yeah. And
For a reason, there was research involved. Anyway.
You don't have to justify watching Star Trek to me, Sue.
That's fair. I might have to justify if it was Picard Season 2, though.
So I've been thinking I need to do a complete Picard rewatch, like watch the whole thing in one binge.
Oh my god.
Just
That's
because...
a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster, but because I've been very hard on Season 2, and not without reason. But I also haven't watched it since it came out, and I wonder if I binge it in between Seasons 1 and 3, whether I might like it more than I did before.
I mean, that's an experiment. For science.
Right. Because Season 1, there were a lot of things I liked in Season 1. I felt that Season 1 was a little half-baked, but I did enjoy a lot of Season 1. Season 2, there were some, like, I thought the premise of the beginning of Season 2 had potential. And then, well...
But that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, but also I've never seen Season 3 other than when it aired, so I think I want to do a complete Picard binge and also just see how I feel about Season 3 all at once as well. So yeah, it turns out no, the Federation hadn't fired on his father. His father had accidentally gotten everyone killed through his own stupidity. But we don't know that yet.
I thought when Nala was discussing or discussing isn't right, responding to this story, that it was interesting that she also put in there like your colony, your planet had this valuable resource that people came and traded for. So like individuals may have not been great off, but like you had basically a bargaining chip. And those relief ships were going to planets or colonies with disease and with starvation and with like basically there are people worse off than you explanation. But like that doesn't it's interesting because that doesn't lessen the suffering of people who might be on another colony. Like it's not a pie. Right? It's not a zero-sum game.
I think, and part of this is that now, that the Federation would be devoted to helping all of those people, but in that resource scarce post-burn era, they couldn't necessarily actually do that.
Right. There's the struggle, right, between a limited amount of resources, a limited amount of people, and like the facts that everyone is hurting, and that like if you are in that kind of position, not necessarily defending the Federation here, but like if you are the person who gets to make choices, they're hard choices.
Yeah. I also do wonder about this in that why were these ships flying close enough to this planet that they could be seen and shot at from the planet if they were going to other planets?
For the story. That's the only reason. Right? Like, cause
yeah, I guess. Oh, it's like
why would they even enter the planetary system if they weren't going to that planet, right?
Well, it was like in Star Wars where they could see all those planets getting blown up from that other planet.
It's just, they're really, really big ships, like in Independence Day, and you can see them coming. And they're going to shake the moon, right?
Yeah, and here's when Anisha says that she is guilty.
Now, did you think they were going to have her come around to Nala's side?
No, I didn't. Did you?
I was afraid they were.
Okay.
I was, because they tried, I feel like we had those previous scenes, like, just trust me, your son's alive, and we're doing our best for you, and we're not as bad as you think we are. Like, I was nervous it was going to be the cliche of, like,
Gotcha.
No, she's actually okay. So I'm glad they didn't.
No, and the only way that Anisha could be convinced is through Caleb, and that's how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, because Caleb is the only person that she would ever listen to convince her of something like that. So, back on the Athena, they are stuck in a gravitational eddy. They need to fix the plasma leak for the engines, so Reno and Caleb go down to engineering, and she gives him a bit of a talking to make sure he get his head in the right space here.
And did you catch that the advice for a gravitational eddy is the same for black ice?
Yes, I did.
Turn into the skid.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Let me tell you how many times I have absolutely not done that when hitting black ice because it is not intuitive.
I act like I know. I don't drive. New York City.
You can intellectually know that all you want, but then when it happens and your car is suddenly going the wrong direction, your instinct is gonna be to turn the wheel the other way. Anyway, black ice is scary stuff, folks.
So are gravitational eddies.
Apparently. I've never encountered one of those. I do have some experience with black ice. They fix the drive, and they are trying to figure out what's happening with the doctor because he's just talking nonsense. And Sam and Genesis are having a heart-to-heart. They're finally, because there's been this tension between Sam and Genesis since Sam was reborn, and they finally talk it out and they become friends again. And through that, they talk about the language that they spoke that no one else did. And that gives Jaden the idea that maybe the doctor is speaking a language no one understands.
He's speaking in cryptic crosswords, basically.
Yes, he is. He's saying, don't cross the Rubincon.
Get gum on your shoe.
Yeah. Glue on your shoe.
Glue, that's right. Dixon Hill was in my head. Glue on your shoe, because they're glued.
Yeah, and he's talking about Rubin particles and gluons, which can be used to stabilize Omega.
I still don't fully understand why he can't just speak.
So, okay, my headcanon, because they don't explain this.
Right.
My headcanon is that when he was in the computer, he absorbed all the information in the computer.
And it's just overwhelming?
Yes. But because of that, he also included all the data that Admiral Vance sent about Omega, which he had just done in the previous scene.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he knows that the Rubin particles and gluons can do it, and he's trying to express that. That's my headcanon, at least.
Okay.
Because they really never explain what's going on with him.
But they keep saying nothing's wrong. And I also, like, correct me if I am not remembering, but, like, this also they don't show him then being able to converse typically again, right?
I don't think so, no.
They just solve this problem, and then, like, we assume that the doctor will be fine?
Yeah, I don't think the doctor speaks at all at the end of the episode, so I don't know.
Is he going to talk in cryptic crosswords forever?
I mean, that would be interesting. I don't think so, though.
So confusing. Anyway, sure. Speed of plot.
Yes, exactly. So now they know what they have to do to stabilize the particles, and they're working on it.
But I know you told me you talked about this last week.
Sure,
and
go for it.
I know that we talked about, before we started recording, the galactic plane and leaving the galactic plane and flying. I just, like, this is, it seems again like a reach that all of Federation space is surrounded by these mines, and that there are enough of them, and that they each have enough range to completely cut off the Federation from everyone else, so it can't be traversed, like there's some sort of galactic barrier or within the galaxy, which
yeah. And what? We did talk last week. I had quoted that that person had calculated that it would need 4.5 million mines. In this episode, they talk about how there's hundreds of mines, which, technically speaking, 4.5 million mines is just many, many hundreds of mines. But I don't think that's what they meant, which makes it even less believable to me.
You're technically correct. The best kind of correct. But that post that
Let's
person
see how many
made,
more Futurama quotes we can get into this episode.
Did that have a range, a detonation range? That's not the right words. Like a destruction range in it that was referencing the episode, or is that person just assuming?
I don't know how much of this was actual science, actual assumption, or from the episode.
Right.
Hundreds still feels small to me, though.
I feel like early on they do mention like how much space a single bomb mine could take out, but I don't remember what that number is.
And that's why I'm assuming where he said that each one covers 20 cubic light years was taken from the episode, but I don't know that for sure.
That's a lot of mines. Where did he get all those mines? Where did he get the time to lay them all?
Mm-hmm. How did he lay them all without anyone noticing? Like, even if they don't notice him actually laying the mines, how did no one encounter these mines at some point during the process? Yeah. Many questions.
Sure.
It's still better than the good Borg guarding some sort of weird dimensional portal that they never explain.
Somehow Palpatine survived.
It's also better than that.
Returned, survived, I don't remember. Anyway.
Somehow Palpatine returned, I believe, is what the line is. I am not going to rewatch the movie to find out.
No.
I tried to rewatch that movie, actually, a couple years ago, and got maybe 30 minutes in before I'm like, nope. Honestly, I'd rather watch Section 31.
Oh, man.
Anyway. Yeah, so we'll just assume, for the sake of the story, that these mines are feasible, and they are figuring out the way to block them, but they need more time. So they send Caleb in on a shuttle to the location of the trial so that he can monologue with Newsbraka. And so this is where we find out about the fact that the Federation did not fire on the colony, that it was actually the mistake that Noose's father did, which is his second mistake after naming his son Newstifer. So one thing I want to just bring up briefly, Newsbraka, he is a Klingerite from a colony out somewhere. He sure does like his human cultural references for someone who is neither human nor from Earth.
The one that struck me as almost like out of place was Lazarus.
Yes!
And I'm like, are we still in this far in the future, like basing all of our cultural understanding on the Bible?
And then he went on to like describe how she's not like Lazarus too. It's like, that was weird.
There was another one, but that came after that. But like the Lazarus one is the one that like made me reel almost. Like, what?
I was talking about this on Blue Sky, and someone said that they have a game in their family where when they watch Star Trek, they like to yell, "You wouldn't know what that is," whenever someone makes a reference like that.
Or like how the next gen characters are always listening to what we consider classical music from several hundred years ago. I guess it's like that like couple of months that the whole world was obsessed with Gregorian chants. Like that's the thing I can most
That was a
liken it
thing
to.
for a minute.
It's a real thing that happened. Why?
And then not too long ago, the whole world was obsessed with sea shanties for a minute. So yeah, I mean, it happens.
But like you're constantly listening to / consuming 1,000-year-old media.
I mean, I believe that Picard would because he's a big old nerd. But yeah, it is interesting.
All of society is consuming 1,000-year-old media. Like, I don't get it, man. Not even of your own culture, presumably.
Another line that took me out of it just because I was not expected to hear this word in Star Trek ever was earlier in the season when Nus Braka talks about spooge.
Yeah. Sure.
Anyway, yeah, so we found out the story. Nus Braka is upset about this. He's going to set off the mines, and as usually happens in stories, Sam manages to stabilize the mines at the exact moment that he goes to detonate them. And the cavalry comes. The Venari Rawl are all captured.
Okay, wait, I have another question, though. Sorry.
Excellent.
When they're pointing out to Braka that he is incorrect about what occurred on his home colony, the phrase used is his entire worldview is based on a lie.
I noticed that too. Why would it be a worldview?
But also, not
Shouldn't
even that
it be
part.
like a universe view or something? Like, worldview is a very pre-space travel-centric word.
Sure.
That's not what you're talking about, okay.
No, but it's that the description of like, or the counter argument is that he was incorrect about that it wasn't Federation fire, it was the atmosphere lit up. But is that a misconception, a misunderstanding of a child? Or did some other adult after that occurred say to him, the Federation fired on us? Is it a lie? Or is it not a lack of understanding?
I was assuming it was a misconception, but it could just as easily have been a lie.
I mean, maybe this is very in the weeds, but I feel like that distinction changes things, right? If it is a lie that someone else fed him, there's a lot more, I think, to dissect there. There's a lot more, like, it means there is a larger community, you could say, of people who have this belief, who are out to get the Federation because of this specific thing and thinks that it is the Federation that goes around attacking civilians, basically. That it is not out of that character. If it is Braka's own misconception that he came up with and believes himself, you could make the argument that he is a rogue actor. And while other people might be upset with the Federation, he's the one who has this like driving force inside him from this experience.
I felt like that was what they were going for. The second option.
Me too. But based on like how it is spoken about and acted. But I don't know, something about the based on a lie phrasing just like rubbed me the wrong way.
I can see that, yeah. But yeah, no, I'm assuming, yeah, it was rather than specifically based on a lie per se, based on his misunderstanding as a kid, and that's like what has driven him all this time for revenge over a slight that didn't actually happen, or that wasn't what he thought it was. And it's this conversation between Caleb and Braka and Ake as well that is, but it's Caleb here talking about it that really convinces Anisha, and we can see that. I do like when Anisha slugs him and he spits out a 2. He's like, that's all the harder you can hit, and then Ake hits him even harder. That was good.
She's great. I love her so much. I'm so glad she's in Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's fantastic. I'm really tired of reading stupid comments about her feet on the internet, but yes, she's fantastic.
I want to know so much about the choices she made and the physicality for this character, and like how much of this came from just how you perceive the way she speaks, how much of this came from the fact that she's a Lanthanite and has been alive for so many years, tell me everything. Like
mm-hmm. Oh, I want her to come to SCLV. That would be fantastic.
Oh my god. Also, as someone who hates shoes, leave her alone.
Okay, I do in fact kind of side with the War College Chancellor about her walking around in the public areas barefoot, because that just feels gross.
Okay, yeah, public area is fine. But, like, in her office, let her wear her sweatpants. Well, no, okay, also, Lieutenant Dax from Star Trek 6?
Yes, if shoe fits.
Walks around barefoot all the time.
That's true. But one would presume that's sort of like a Hobbit situation where the feet are adapted for that.
Maybe Lanthanite feet are adapted for that. You don't know. You don't know that.
I don't know, but Pelia wears boots.
Oh, she also steals art.
Sure.
Maybe it's just an affectation. Or a choice. You don't know.
I'm just not super down with that. But, yeah, no, I'm totally fine with her, curling up barefoot on the captain's chair. I think that's fine. Because you'll notice when there is actual action, she is sitting like a proper captain in the captain's chair.
Maybe she's bisexual. She can't sit in chairs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's not her fault.
Literally, one of my feet is asleep right now because I've been sitting on it this whole time.
I have office slippers for my actual office that I go to every day. That is not my home.
Well, see, that's the other thing. I don't personally... I'm also against bare feet in general because I'm old and I need arch support.
Good enough.
Anyway. So, yeah, everything is happy now. Everything's... The ship returns to Beta Z. It's all the parts are back together. They cleaned up the atrium pretty quickly. Caleb has to have dinner with the president of Beta Z.
Oh, right, because this whole thing was about going there to name that their new capital.
Yes. And that's his punishment rather than community service. And Anisha and Caleb are going to finally visit Earth, because they had talked about that way back in the first episode when he was a little kid, before she went to trial. But they're going to do that during his summer break, and then he's going back to the academy. And I did enjoy at the very end there. We got more Stephen Colbert messages. One, he talked about the Talaxian furfly is now mating with itself. Does that seem like a good thing to you, or is this good behavior? So we talked last week's episode. We talked about how we now we think about the movie The Fly when he talks about the Talaxian furfly.
Oh no!
And I'm just imagining Ethan Phillips' face on a fly going, "Help me!" Oh
no!
So next season, I want a cameo of Ethan Phillips as the Talaxian furfly.
Oh no!
But better than the Talaxian furfly was the very last thing that Stephen Colbert says, is telling the cadets as they go out onto Beta Z, make sure to follow all local customs while visiting cultural sites, observing religious ceremonies, or attending any weddings. Don't forget your sunscreen. Which, listeners, if you don't know, which I'd be surprised that there are many listeners to this podcast who don't know, Betazoid weddings are in the nude.
Oh, man. Also, don't step on any flower beds. You might get murdered.
One of the cabins on the cruise was giving away little wanted posters for Wesley Crusher for Flower Aside.
I was recently reading a fan fiction where...
Shocking.
I know. Where Picard lets them kill Wesley. Just
wow.
And he goes to Beverly. He's like, sorry, there's nothing I can do. And that's why that's the explanation for her leaving the Enterprise for the next season. Okay. Because there were reminders of him everywhere.
Oh, I thought I was figuring this was gonna, when he goes to Beverly and tells her there's nothing he can do, this was gonna end up in hate sex.
And not in this case.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else about this episode that you wanted to touch on?
I think we hit just about everything, including stuff that didn't happen in this episode.
Well, that always happens. The one other line that I had noted down was when they were trying to figure out the proper, equation for balancing out and stabilizing the Omega. Sam says this is an algorithm, not a pineapple cake, which is a subtle reference to Enterprise with Malcolm Reed's pineapple cake, which I probably might not have thought about if I hadn't just played Malcolm Reed trivia on the cruise the other week.
Yeah, I would not. I clearly did not pick that one up.
Because that was a B plot in one of the episodes of Enterprise in the early season where it's Malcolm Reed's birthday and Hoshi is assigned with figuring out what his favorite food is so that they can have it at the party.
It's ringing bells.
Yeah, and eventually she figures out that he likes pineapple because HIPAA isn't a thing in the 22nd century, and he takes a medication for pineapple allergy.
Is that really the logic? Because he treats his allergy.
Yes.
Like, in case he encounters it, that must mean that he likes it.
Well, I think the idea is that pineapple is avoidable enough that unless you really liked it, you probably would just not eat it rather than take the medicine. I
guess. I mean, it's not like wheat or corn, but it's also delicious.
Yeah, I know. I love pineapple. But it turned out to be correct. They got a pineapple cake for his birthday. He's like, pineapple? How did you know? But it was like a whole part of the episode because, like, she calls his parents and they're like, I don't know what he likes.
Poor Malcolm. I don't watch a lot of Enterprise. That might be clear. But this does sound familiar.
All right. Well, I think that's all I had to cover for this episode.
Yeah, we hit everything I wrote down. Other than the fact that I literally was like, Rubincon. Is that a typo?
Well, a lot of people on the internet were confidently saying it was a typo until the episode came out. Because...
I mean, that's what I thought. You have the text messages to prove it.
Yeah, but you weren't on the internet correcting articles about the episode like some people were.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah, no, it is definitely Rubincon. It's not even hidden that much. We definitely know why it's called. The Doctor says the word. All right. Well, Sue, thank you so much for joining us to talk about crossing the Rubincon. Where can our listeners find you online? Do you have any work you want to mention?
This coming weekend, I will be at MegaCon in Orlando. But on the internet, you can probably find me most easily on Blue Sky. Where I am Subspace Sue. Very Star Trek.
And if you want to find me, you can go to my website, tyrannicus.net. That's Tyranicus, where I have links to my socials and work. And you can listen to me on the podcast I do with my friend Carl called License to Spiel. That's license spelled with a C like the British do it. Where we started out talking about James Bond and through a roundabout way are now covering every episode of Columbo.
Makes complete sense.
Obviously. And if you want to find Chrissie online, she's on the socials at The Goddess Livia. And you can hear her on her history podcast called History with the Szilagys here on BQN. Don't forget all of our other great shows on BQN. Here's a recording of Amy Nelson to tell you all about them.
What's happening on BQN, you ask? We're not just a network. We're a universe of exploration, entertainment, and deep dives into the topics you love. Here's your star map to the sonic adventures awaiting you. Let's chart the Star Trek cosmos with all good things. Embark on a comprehensive journey through the entire Star Trek universe with the insightful crew of Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. From classic to current, they cover it all. Galaxy class, engage! Stephen and Stefan pilots this Alpha Quadrant mission, meticulously covering all aspects of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Infinite diversity. Stay current with the newest Star Trek frontiers alongside Chrissie and Thad. Union Federation. Whether your allegiance lies with Starfleet or the Planetary Union, Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley offer a unified front, discussing both current Star Trek and the truly Trek at heart, the Orville. Crack open that book with Peter and the Trek Book Club podcast. Delve into a rich tapestry of Star Trek's beta canon. What's the tea, Bev? Christo spills the latest Trek news and fandom insights with an essential LGBTQIA+ perspective, complete with engaging guest interviews. Our visual voyages that you can find on YouTube as well as podcasts are Trek Masters. Think you're a Starfleet Academy graduate? Test your knowledge with Davey and MC's challenging Star Trek quiz show. And the View Screen. Tune in live on Sundays for your dose of a Trek-inspired talk show. Kelvin and Amy host new 8-week seasons each spring and fall. But beyond the final frontier, we have Bargain Bin Gamer. Davey and Mitch, your self-proclaimed gamer guides, lead you to digital treasures, unearthing and reviewing the most affordable video game gems. Cinema Z. Grab your metaphorical popcorn for Mark and Matt's cinematic deep dives, unearthing overlooked films that demand your attention. History with the Szilagys. In order to never repeat it, tune in as Chrissie and Jason deliver bite-sized snippets of historical events from around the globe and transformational journeys. Host Lex Rosa explores what it means to embrace authenticity in the face of societal expectations. You can unlock deeper levels of engagement with our exclusive patron perks. The Hive Mind is where you can join our random script readings, live reaction shows, and roundtable discussions. You can also now watch All Good Things as an extended video edit and get a background look into the creation of a podcast. Also, check out our back catalog of It's Green and Amy's Math Moments. Stay connected to our ever-expanding galaxy of content by following BQN Podcasts on Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, and Discord. We appreciate you choosing BQN to fill your auditory needs. Thank you for listening. Assimilate the audio.
And thank you very much for tuning in to Infinite Diversity. Thank you to Zach Tripp for the wonderful theme music, and Mark White for the awesome show art. Please subscribe in your favorite podcast player, and don't forget to rate and review us there as well. If you want to reach out, you can find the network on the socials at BQN Podcasts, or our show specifically at IDIC Podcast. You can also talk about any and all of the BQN podcasts in our Facebook group, the BQN Collective, and join our Discord server. When you next hear from us, we'll probably be talking about the new season of Strange New Worlds. But, that remains to be seen. Something else could happen between now and then. Until then, peace and long life. Okay, so I promise this is the last time I'm going to talk about the nacelle action figures for like a couple months. Because
we're
I
probably
finally
not going
got
to be
mine.
recording for another couple months, so...
Yeah, so, Well, no, it should be, because Wave 2 isn't supposed to come out till the fall, so it should be fine.
Yeah.
But I got my Wave 1 figures, and they are amazing.
Yay.
They're exactly what I was expecting them to be. And please, listeners, go out and buy them. You can buy all of the Wave 1 figures right now. They're currently available. And Wave 2 is coming later this year. In Wave 2, I'm especially excited for Year of Hell Janeway in the tank top. That one looks amazing. And there's a Nog figure in Wave 2. There's several figures I'm really excited for Wave 2. And now that I have Wave 1, and they're excellent, I have them all on display. I have Tuvix on his knees pleading with Janeway to spare his life.
Sub Rosa Crusher's in Wave 2, right?
Sub Rosa Crusher is... No, that's Wave 3. No, Wave 4. That's Wave 4.
Damn it, Brian.
Wow.
God damn.
Yeah, because Wave 3 is coming... that's the 60th anniversary one. That's the TOS crew. The one that also includes Gene Roddenberry and
so
Lucille
it's coming for
Ball.
the TNG 40th. I see.
So then...
I got you.
No, TNG 40th will be Wave 5, which will be the TNG crew.
Oh my god.
Wave 4 is another... So the way they're doing it now is... It is. So, the first two waves are the wacko figures that no one's ever made before. And then now they're going... And then after that, they're going to be alternating between a regular crew set and a wave of wacko figures that no one's made before. So, Wave 3 will be the regular TOS crew in their uniforms. I know, boring. And then Wave 4, which they've already announced most of the figures, are more wacko figures, including Sub Rosa Crusher. And then Wave 5 will be the TNG crew in their uniforms. Wave 6 will be more wackos, etc. Assuming, of course, that people buy them and they continue to be a success. And let me say, they are great figures. I'm really satisfied with them, especially like for the price, because they're like $28 a piece. So, one, this means it's something that I can actually afford to collect them all without going bankrupt, which is great. On like Exo 6.
Yeah.
And for that $28, you're getting a lot of detail out of these figures. The most comparable thing would be to compare them to the Art Asylum Diamond Select figures from the early 2000s. I think up to like 2010 or so is when they stopped doing those. But I will say, if you compare them, the nacelle figures are ever so slightly smaller. They're basically the same scale, but they're a little smaller. But the detail is night and day difference. If anyone who's interested, go on my Blue Sky. That's Tyrannicus.net on Blue Sky. I have a photo where I compared the Wave 1 Captain Sulu from Star Trek 6 to Diamond Select's Commander Sulu from Wrath of Khan next to each other, and the cell one looks way more like George Takei. So yeah, these are fantastic figures. And I really want to support, especially the fact that they're doing these waves of the wacko figures. Like, did we ever think we would get a Captain Jellicoe action figure?
I don't know. We did get a Geordie as electrical creature action figures. So,
and that's the thing. We haven't gotten figures like this since the mid-'90s when the Playmates line was at its peak, and they were doing those weird things.
And I mean, maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but I don't need another set of the crew in their regular duty uniforms.
Right, see,
Give me the weird stuff.
The weird stuff are the better, but the thing is, there are people that they were originally just doing the weird stuff, and they got enough pushback from people wanting the regular uniforms because collectors be collectors.
Who are these people? Shout out. Why do you need another Captain Kirk instead of Kai Wynn? Come on.
Is Kai Wynn listed as coming? Because I hope so.
I don't know, but I know that Playmates never made a Kai Wynn.
Okay, Playmates never made a Kai Wynn. They did make a Barial.
Oh, they did? Oh.
Choose the most boring one.
Yeah, I've always joked that a Barial action figure is a misnomer if I ever heard one.
Oh my.
Will they fit in my Playmates bridge set?
No.
Oh, okay.
But that is another thing they did announce.
Honey, I blew up the TNG crew.
with
Sorry.
Wave 3, which is the TOS crew, they will be releasing alongside it a build your own TOS bridge set that will be a subscription that you'll get. I think it's like 6 or 7 pieces.
No.
I will not be getting that. Because if you think about it, if you're building the entire bridge for 6-inch figures, these sets, once you put them together, are going to be enormous. No one has space for that. But beside that, although I know people who will be buying it, I do know that friend of the show Alex Perry has already committed that he will be getting it.
Shocked.
I will say, if they do with the TNG bridge, I'll probably get that. And one thing I know for sure is when they do the DS9 wave, if they do a DS9 playset for like the Promenade or something, I will 100% be buying that.
Me too. Now here's the question. Will they do the Promenade with Quarks or Ops? Or both?
That is a good question. Either way, I'll buy it.
Yeah. I hope both.
Oh, both would be even better, yes.
Yeah. Better for concept, worse for our wallets, but that's okay.
Oh, I have no idea. Also, like, even in concept, like, I don't know where I would put a 6-inch action figure scale DS9 Promenade in my house.
Oh, yeah.
Look, we worry about the space later.
You know
as
about my
evidenced
book
by
addiction.
the
It's the same
entire
thing.
wall full of Lego sitting next to me.
Oh, just one wall? Amateur.
I have 3 cats in a New York City apartment. There can only be so much Lego.
My house is probably like 20% or 30% Lego by volume.
I like it. We're going to have, it's going to be books, Star Trek stuff, Legos, and Jay's Warhammer action figures.